Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel. And for the first time in what feels like 3 years, not only a live stream, but a live stream previewing a Manchester United match. Can you believe it? It's been about 100 years since United last played, but this weekend / Monday night, we are finally back in action and at Old Trafford. We actually get to watch Manchester United in red at Old Trafford for the first time in a long time. And it really is now the beginning of the end of the season. It's sort of that last little charge before the end of the campaign. 7 games to go to make sure that next season we have Champions League football. Because next season we cannot go through these long old waits with no matches. Because it is just the worst thing I have ever experienced as a football fan. Too many days without United in action. It needs to change next season. So these last 7, they are big games. However, we do go into them in just a great position. This week, it was officially confirmed that we just need a spot in the top 5 to guarantee Champions League football for next season. And we are currently, let me do some maths, we are currently, 7 points clear of the team in 6th. So you sort of start to think we should be okay. We should be finishing in the top 5 this season. But you know, a game against Leeds is never an easy one. Granted, they are currently decimated by injuries. Lots of big players out missing. But it won't be easy. I don't think a game like this, where they're such fierce rivals, I don't think a match like this will ever be easy in any context. However, if there's a time to be confident as Manchester United fans, it feels like right now. We've all seen the training videos, the sort of vibe around the squad. The camp seems quite good right now. The players look like they're in a good place. The form under Michael Carrick has been great, really. The results we've had have been fantastic. So let's sort of kickstart this end of campaign run with a good performance. Our aim today in terms of the stream is to come up with a starting 11 that we feel can get the job done. And I do think there are a few positions which require some good conversation. A couple of other positions are sort of the same as before, sort of pick themselves. But I do think there's a couple of interesting things for us to discuss. And also, after this stream, some point over the weekend, I will be doing a video, more of a breakdown on Leeds and sort of weaknesses within their structure. So that is the plan for coverage of this game, which again is Monday night, by the way. Monday night, why is it so far away? Why can't we be Saturday, like lunchtime? So annoying, so annoying. Anyway, before we actually get into this, I want to hear from you guys in the chat because it has been a long time. I do apologise for that. I think it's 21 days since we did a match day stream. Or a match preview stream. I've been ill, so sorry about that, but I'm just about getting back up to speed now. You can probably hear it in my voice a little bit in certain videos, but I am getting there. Yeah, let me know how you've been. And have you been enjoying the international break, or has it just been horror watching bad teams play bad football and then being jealous of the Champions League teams playing good football? Let me know how you've been. Steve, good morning to you. Look at that 17-month membership, the beautiful gold shiny badge. My sister Katie is here. Can you grief her? I can. Katie, those socks you're wearing, mate, absolute horror. Absolute horror. Absolute horror. Thank you very much, as always, Steve, for the membership and the continued support. AJ, did you watch Leeds against West Ham in the FA Cup? I did not. I will be watching it back over the weekend when I do my research for Leeds, but I did not watch that game. Did you? And if so, what did you see? What did you learn? What did you think of them? I think that's the game where they picked up a few knocks, right? I think there's a bit of beef between West Ham and Leeds fans, like both teams trying to injure each other, supposedly. I'm not sure. PSG Liverpool, now that is a game I did watch and enjoyed. Yeah, very much enjoyed that game. I don't actually think PSG were as amazing as we've seen them, but Liverpool are just bad. They're just bad, and it's great. I absolutely just love it. I'm here for it all day long. You're welcome, Steve, mate. Absolutely cooked her. Chad, good morning, my friend. How are you? Lovely to see you. I enjoyed France versus Brazil. Did I see that game? I don't think I saw that game, but I think that was another one I was planning on watching back at some point. With key injuries, we become more predictable, but players coming back is greatly beneficial. Yeah, and I think Steve mentioned as well, sort of the planning of a Champions League squad. I think we like where the Manchester United squad is at the moment. Whether it's going to be Michael Carrick next season, or whether it's going to be some random geezer that we don't yet know about, I think the squad is in a good place. And What we don't need is a full squad overhaul, which is nice. We go into a summer where it doesn't feel like we need to rip up everything and start again. The midfield drastically needs addressing, we know that. But outside of that, it does feel like we're in a place where we can sort of fill out the squad a little bit. We can maybe even take some risks, which we haven't been able to do. So that's quite nice. I sort of look at the winger situation. And because we've got Ahmad, who's sort of somewhat reliable, we've got Mbumo and also Cunha. I sort of feel like we're now in a position where if we were to sign a winger, we could actually take a gamble on someone a little bit younger, who's not as proven. You know, last year, we very much needed established players. Garnacho, sort of these young players on the wing hadn't worked. Last summer, we needed established players in these positions. I now sort of feel that, you know, maybe you can go and sign a youngster here. Maybe in one of the fullback positions, you might be able to go and sign a youngster, especially on the right, for example. So, yeah, I think it's a good time to be Manchester United trying to sign players. I think it's a really, really good year for it. PSG were baiting the press from throw-ins. Yeah, PSG have been good at their throw-ins for quite a while. It's something that I want to do a video on the second channel at some point, but I just was not feeling well again yesterday morning, so didn't cover the PSG game. But yeah, the throw-ins, Nuno Mendes is really good at throw-ins, and there's a lot of good movement off the ball they do. And it's quite effective. I think it's something that more teams should try and take advantage of. I think United are actually terrible at throw-ins. And it's not just about long throws. It's about what we saw. Clever movement off the back of people. Yeah, PSG do it really well. Really well. Truly feel we need left wing. wait. So you said, I truly feel we need a left back rather than left back as a priority. Then you said left wing, I mean. So do you mean we need left wing rather than left back? Or we need left back rather than left wing? What way around do you mean that? Personally, I think we probably need both. But if you can get one super high quality, that probably addresses a lot of the issues. For example, if you sign like this immense touchline left winger, then our left backs for now are probably okay. Or if you sign this real flying left back who's top quality, then Cunha's probably fine on the left wing. But in an ideal world, you address both, is sort of how I see it at the moment. Anyway, let's get to the old starting 11 for the first time in a long time. However, something that doesn't change and hopefully never will is Lomans in goal. Played really well for Belgium over the international break, and he's just going from strength to strength. I mean, what a time to be him right now. Lomans, what a year he's had. What 6 months. It's been absolutely brilliant for him. Quality for United. Simple, right? He comes into the team. Simple as that. Back four, a little bit more of a conversation to have. Harry Maguire, I've just thought, I swear Harry Maguire's in my thumbnail. Is Maguire in my thumbnail? Is Maguire in my thumbnail? I think he is, but he's suspended. Rookie error. Rookie error. So, who do we have? Well, we might have Lisandro Martinez. He looks like he's getting close. You know, before the international break, there was sort of a mention that there was a chance for the Bournemouth game. It's been a couple of weeks since then. He is training with the squad. Are we going to have ourselves a little Lisandro Martinez ready to be selected? And if so, do you take the risk or do you just look after him? We've had this conversation so many times over the past couple of years. When Licha returns, we want to put him straight back into the team because he's so good. But do you have to protect him? Do you have to be careful? Do you have to look after him? Not sure. Other options in the back four, of course. You know, Luke Shaw is going to be there or thereabouts every single week. Diogo Dalot. Mazraoui. Son, I don't know if you've got an update on Mazraoui and his availability. Wasn't there a bit of an issue with the international break in Morocco? But I think he's okay. I think he's been training and is fine, but I might be wrong. Then we've also got Lenny Yoro. We've got Aiden Heaven. And then we've got... Nope. Still no De Ligt. Still no De Ligt. 3 years without a match for United. Still no De Ligt available. Worrying. No Harry Maguire. Suspended. Patrick Dorgu getting closer to full fitness, but it looks like a few weeks too early for him still. So, I would say those are our back four options. So, Cook, get in the chat and let me know what you would be doing with those guys. David, good morning to you, my friend. 26-month membership. That's pretty darn impressive. It feels like how long it was since we last played. Mr. Streams, welcome back, AJ. Thank you very much. I hope you have been well. I'm back now. I'm good. I'll be real. I haven't fully recovered yet, but I'm just about better. So the streams are going to be regular again now. Next week might be a bit of a weird structure because United play Monday night, but 2 streams a week, we're back. Constant videos, hoping not to miss a day again in April, so plenty of content on the way. Back injuries are usually bad. They're just an awkward one, right? I don't know if you've ever hurt your back or your neck, but it just stops you doing everything. It just makes you completely miserable. The most basic tasks just become impossible. A back injury one for De Ligt, it's a really bad one. And, the fact that he keeps getting set back, I don't know how long it is now. When did he last play? It was a long old time ago. I don't think he'll play again this season, to be honest. You've got to sort of start that question of, does he play again for Manchester United? Which is so disappointing for him because, he was one of our form players, I would say, this campaign. Particularly under Ruben Amorim, when as a squad we were still struggling. I think De Ligt was one of the ones that was really upping the levels of performance. But this might be one where United sort of cut the losses a little bit and, move him on in the summer. Left Shaw. Now, I know you're talking about Shaw left back, but it does actually raise the point, and it's something that Steve mentioned before the international break. Is there the option for Luke Shaw to play left centre-back in this game, and one of Dalot or Mazraoui could go wide? That is an option as well. We've also got David with a gifted membership. David, thank you very much, as always. If you did get gifted a membership, make sure to say thank you in the chat. David, thank you very much, as always. And guys, you know what to do. Lots of love hearts. Lots of love hearts. De Ligt last played November. Eesh. That's not looking good. Anyway, back 4. Personally, I think it's as simple as Luke Shaw plays left, Diogo Dalot plays right. I think that's our best fullback pairing. Love Mazraoui, but I just think at the moment Dalot and Shaw are ahead of him. Shaw naturally on the left just is a left back, isn't he? Mazraoui's not. Simple as that. On the right, I just think we look a little bit better with Dalot in the team. I just think we look like a stronger side. I think we look better when he plays. Which is weird, right? Because Mazraoui is a very good player. Very good. It's nice to have that depth. But I just think Dalot is more suited to this United team. And I think, we've said it quite a lot, but I think this is going to be a United defence that needs some sort of height and athleticism in it as much as possible, particularly in this game. So I think Dalot would be in my team. Honestly, I think he'd be in my team. Son, good morning. Hope you're well. How are we all? Not bad at all. Thank you, David. Not bad at all. Honestly, since progressive passing from deep has been a big issue, I'm quite surprised we haven't seen Shaw or Heaven start at left centre-back under Carrick yet. Yeah, has Heaven not started a single game? Been a really weird season for Aiden Heaven. I sort of wonder where his headspace is at come the summer. I don't think he's going to leave or anything like that. I think he's absolutely fine. But obviously, he had the first half of the season really where he didn't play under Ruben Amorim. Then Amorim sort of started trusting him a little bit more at the turn of the year. Sort of end of December, start of January, we started to see a bit of Aiden Heaven. Thought he was playing really well. And then under Carrick, partly because we had so few games, he's just sort of disappeared again and isn't really playing. Is this now the time for him? The time for him to come in? We've sort of said for a long time how at some point we would just love to see these two given a go together and see what they can do. Could that be the future of the Manchester United sort of centre-back partnership? Possibly. You don't know until you play them. You don't know until you give them a go. I do think they complement each other quite nicely. Left footer, right footer, naturally. Heaven, ball playing. Yoro, not so much. And then defensively, you've got Heaven being a bit more aggressive. Yoro, a bit more of that covering defender. I do think there is potentially a nice partnership there. But if Leeds were to go to the front 2, which isn't guaranteed, again, they've got so many injury problems, they'll probably just be trying to get an 11 on the field. This could be a little bit of a problem, especially Calvert-Lewin. Been in brilliant form this season. Really, really good. And what he's done a lot of at Leeds is focus his play more centrally, rather than going into the channels so much. Calvert-Lewin's a very clever player. He's a bit of a nuisance. He's relentless. He'll just run constantly. He'll chase every ball. He'll be rough with the centre-backs. I think that's why I put Maguire in my thumbnail and then realised, oh wait, he's suspended. But it's not an ideal one for him to be suspended for. Not against that sort of striker. And if you're then facing 2, then I don't think that is something that Carrick will be in love with. But if we don't have Lisandro Martinez, if he isn't fit to, or fit enough to take a risk, you can't play him, and we don't really have another option. And this is the concern again when you've got the injury-prone centre-backs that we have at the club at the moment. I've spoken about it a few times, probably in the past 8 weeks, I would say. I keep sort of mentioning it, bringing it up in conversation. You got 3 players there who won't go a season fit. They won't. It won't happen. They will not go a full campaign where they're available every match, the 3 of them. Maguire, probably currently the most reliable one, suspended at the moment. Recently signed a new contract, which I think was a good move by the club. I think that was a smart thing to do. Played well for England as well. But this is the problem. You've got these 2 that are so injury prone, and now I'm thinking ahead to next season. You've got these 2 that are so injury prone, plus Maguire, who you probably don't want being a starter. But like realistically, in 2026, you probably don't want him starting every single game in every competition. I don't think he's someone that you want to build your team around. I think you sort of want to evolve past him. As much as I love Maguire, I've always been one of his biggest fans. We want to be a team that can play a little bit higher, a bit more on the front foot, and perhaps a bit more tempo in our play. Maguire doesn't really suit that in the long term. So you're then left with 2 injury-prone centre-backs, one that is amazing for the squad, and you want to have him sort of second choice, but probably not starting every week. That leaves you with 2 really young players, really, really young centre-backs. And when we're hoping that next season we can be in the Champions League, we can go deep in the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, competing in the Premier League right near the top, start to get a little bit concerned. It's why I always sort of mention the idea of a centre-back signing this summer. The problem is I just don't know what profile you go for. Like, if this lot could stay fit, you trust them one more year. You know, you give these lot one more season, and then go next year, we're going to go big on the centre-back department. But do you trust them to stay fit? That is the problem. Our 3 senior centre-backs are all prone to injuries. Exactly that. It's just awkward. It's just awkward. Lisandro Martinez, look at his stats. He played 14 games this season. 14 games. Like, it's just not enough, really. It's not enough. Oh, and Delict's a custom one. Never mind. Maguire is ideal for big games where we will have less of the ball and need a big physical presence in the box. I think he's a great person to have around. I think there's going to be a lot of change at the club this summer. Casemiro, you're losing experience there. So keeping someone who's been here for a while, knows the club, and is experienced, and is good at football, is a great player to be keeping. But like I said, I just don't think he should be starting every game going into next campaign. So that's a conversation for another day, but it is definitely something that we should keep on our minds, because we're going to have the chat at some point about what we do here. Because we know that there's a few other positions where we need players, but I think we need some here. I think we need someone here. I don't know, do you just go like an elite player who is going to be your centre-back for the next few years? Or do you have to go for more of a squad option? I don't know. Schlotterbeck, yeah, I mean, that would be lovely. That would be... I think if I could pick a centre-back signing, I don't know how much it'd cost. I really don't know. But if I could pick a centre-back signing, Schlotterbeck is the one that I would be after. Video coming on that in the next 3 or 4 days. Yeah, if I could sign a centre-back for United, it's probably him. I think he brings a lot of the ball-playing ability of Lisandro Martinez and is a little bit better defensively. I still don't think he's sort of the perfect box defender or channel defender, but he's an upgrade. I think he's better, and he's available, isn't he? He's available, and that's the most important trait, really, getting on the pitch. I do like Van Hecker as well. Yeah, big fan of him. I also like Malik Chow at Newcastle, but I just don't think we'll be signing him from Newcastle. If anyone, it'll be someone else. Only moved last summer as well, didn't he? So I think that's unlikely. Maguire is elite in the boxes, and we need him. Apologies. And his organisation skills. Yeah, completely agree. I think he's just such a good player to have. And it's a shame not to have him this weekend. I think this would have been a good one for him. In terms of this weekend, or Monday, Heaven or Lisandro Martinez, are you taking the risk? Let me know in the chat. Are you taking the risk on Licha or no? It's a weird one, isn't it? I think normally you would just immediately say no. You'd say you can't do it, got too many games. But when you've only got 7 games and we're not playing in other competitions, you do wonder if you can try your luck a little bit. You do wonder if you can just go for it. Not sure. Yeah, Schlotterbeck reportedly could be quite cheap this summer because of the contract situation. I've seen talks of 30 to 35 million pounds. Is that just agent talk to try and get a new contract at Borussia Dortmund? Possibly. I'm not sure. But yeah, if it's that price, you've got to go all in for it, to be honest. You pick him up at that price, it's too good to miss out on. And good morning to you, my friend, with the 3-month membership. Thank you very much. Hey guys, sorry it's been a while. I mean, sorry from me as well. I've been absent, but good to see you, mate. Hope you are well. Make sure to get some love hearts in the chat for Ant. If Schlotterbeck is 30 million, that's a no-brainer. Yeah, I completely agree. Completely agree. Van Hecker is the closest thing to Lisandro Martinez. I don't think there's the same sort of snappiness to some of his play, but certainly in terms of ball progression, yeah, it's a lovely option. Anyway, let me know. Let's get away from the transfer talk. Centre back, Heaven or Lisandro Martinez? It's going to be Euro because there's pretty much no other option. And I think he's had some better form recently. I think his performances have been a little bit better. Heaven or Lisandro Martinez, what are you fancying? Do you take the risk, the gamble on Licha, or do you play it safe and go Heaven? And does that potentially affect the way that we want to play in this game? Let me know. Whilst you are doing that, I will get to the midfield because it literally picks itself. We're not going to play Ugarte, the man who once got booked 13 times against England and didn't get sent off, but also got booked 0 times. Only Ugarte can do that. Only Ugarte. I mean, he's just unique, isn't he? But it's not going to be him. It's going to be Casemiro and Kobbie Mainoo. You would assume 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, unless there is an injury or an illness that we are not aware of. But up to this point, they're fine and will play, as will Bruno Fernandes. Just looking at the rest of the squad. And this is where it starts to feel a little bit light. Again, I think it's in part because of the lack of fixtures. We don't need to rest. We don't need to rotate. We can just go our strongest 11 most games. But we do end up with the same team pretty much every week, which I think is a good thing. I love the consistency. I love when you can build those understandings between teammates and players, build those relationships, those duos, those trios. I think it's great. But next season, I hope we're having more difficult conversations about the squad because we're in more competitions, but also because we've got more quality players. Like right now, it pretty much feels like we've got 2 midfielders to choose from because Ugarte just doesn't get picked. So we know it's going to be these 2 every week. Next season, I really hope we've got 3 or 4 midfielders in that position and we can go, you know what, this week for this game, we need this fella. We need this skill set. Next week, we're going to need this guy. So let's protect him for now and use this one. I want to be able to have that conversation next year. Same, for example, on the left wing. Like left wing at the moment, unless you want to try an Mbumo or an Ahmad experiment, it's Cunha every single week, isn't it? So I can't wait for next season is what I'm trying to say. I absolutely just cannot wait. We need to have a good, strong summer, get good players in, have a good preseason, which is going to be played in Europe this year, which suits me a little bit better in terms of the time. Be strong in the summer, and then I just cannot wait for next season because I'm so jealous, so jealous of the Champions League nights. Like, I don't think next season we're going to be in a place where we get to semi-finals, quarter-finals of the Champions League, but just to play in some of those big games in the group, which is almost guaranteed now because of the new layout, you will play big games. And just to get through a knockout round or 2 next season in the Champions League, be involved in those big nights at Old Trafford, but also away. You know, we need that. The club so badly needs it. And honestly, I think the Champions League needs us as well. I do think that. Did Maguire get a straight red? If so, is that a 3-game suspension? I believe it's just a 1-game suspension. There's weird rules involved around that. I don't fully understand it all the time. But I believe it's just 1 game. I'm not entirely sure why, but it's just 1. If you spent big on one position this summer, which one would it be? Central midfielder. It would have to be. Because in other positions, it feels like maybe we can upgrade. You know, maybe we can upgrade our left back, or maybe we can upgrade our centre back, or upgrade our left winger. Midfield is literally like, we will have 0 there. It's not even upgrading, it's just having someone for the sake of having someone. So, yeah, that is the position that I would go to first. Anyway, let me just scroll up a little bit. I think people are going Heaven, basically. And we're looking after Lisandro Martinez for 1 more week. You probably try and sort of ease him in with 30 minutes, don't you? 35 minutes late on. It's probably what you try and do. It's a very young centre-back partnership. But hopefully that experience of Shaw and Dalot either side can help. Casemiro in front as well. Probably important on set pieces. Things like that. Also, just sort of noticing... #noticing. Sort of the youth of those 3 as the base of your team. Normally that's where you'd look for your experience, you know, your 28-year-olds who have done a lot. to be a goalkeeper and your two centre-backs. It's very young, very inexperienced, but it's what we've got at the moment. And fortunately, they're not just random youngsters. They're good players, aren't they? They're good players. I'd be really intrigued to see how they do. You know, I was a little bit worried about Heaven against Ollie Watkins back in, what was that, December? Was it December? We played Villa in that game. And Heaven played fantastically. So hopefully he can do something similar against Calvert-Lewin. I think we could get to the quarterfinals. Yeah, it's a little bit of luck of the draw, isn't it? Depends who you get, where you get them. Are you home or are you away first? What's your squad like at the time? But yeah, well, why not? Why not? I think we are a much better team than what we're given credit for. I really do. AJ, do you think Bruno should play this week? You know what? I think he should. I think Carrick should be bold and start Bruno Fernandes. I do. I'm going to say that. Cameo for Lisandro Martinez in the last 25. Exactly. Is Heaven better than Euro? I don't know. I always think, in terms of the quality right now, I think they're pretty close. Pretty close. Different players, different skill sets. I think their level is very similar. I still think Euro has the slightly higher ceiling. I think he's got that little bit more potential in terms of how good he can be one day. Although Heaven almost, he's caught me by surprise since he signed, to be honest. I wasn't expecting him to be as good as he has been. I sort of feel Heaven maybe has the higher floor and Euro has the higher ceiling, is what I want to say. I think that's how I see it at the moment. They both have their strengths and weaknesses, absolutely. I think that's very evident when they play. I do think they can complement each other, though. Just a little bit of a concern about the true aerial presence in this particular game. But I like them as a duo, and it's nice to see them given an opportunity if they are given that. As we've said, midfield picks itself. It's those three. It's no one else. It's those. Have you seen, by the way, that it looks like Bruno Fernandes is going to be staying this summer? Like, at this point, it is seen as a surprise if he was to leave. He did an interview yesterday where he was saying, like, Manchester is his home, pretty much. His kids are Mancunian. Pretty cool. We should be keeping Bruno Fernandes this summer. I'm happy with that. I am very, very happy with that. And I just like the idea of selling him the idea of the project. You go to Bruno as the sort of the negotiation team. You go to Bruno and you think last summer was good in terms of the difference it's made at the club. Well, wait till you see this summer. That's sort of what I hope we've said to Bruno. We're going to get 3 superstars into this team and then a couple of younger talents that we can sort of promote and encourage over the next few years. I hope that's what we're selling Bruno Fernandes, and I hope we're delivering on that this summer, because a team led by Bruno Fernandes and then some of the other quality that we're going to have in this team, it can do serious damage next season. I got a little bit criticised for saying this on Twitter. I think United can win the Premier League next campaign. I do. I really do. I think it's possible. Competitions, so many different competitions next year is going to make it tough. Obviously, we want to be in them. It will make life difficult. I do think I think we can win the Premier League next season. I don't think we will, but I think we can. I don't think it's outside of the realms of possibilities. I think we should be much closer than what we've been this season. Who knows? Who knows? Bruno will stay. He wants silverware. He deserves it. I mean, yeah, if there's a player who deserves a Premier League title in the past decade, it's him, isn't it? Just absolutely. Absolutely. Anyway, shall we get to some forwards where we've got players we like. We're struggling a little bit finding what combinations are perfect in terms of wingers with fullbacks, wingers with strikers, wingers with the midfielders. We're struggling a little bit for balance. Certain profiles we only have 1 of, or another profile we've got 3 of. A little bit of a tricky one. Cunha, I think, is the in-form one. I think he's the one that's moving me the most at the moment. When I watch him play, I think against Bournemouth, he was our biggest threat. Most dangerous player. And I've said that a few times recently. I thought he was good in that game. Then you got Xerxes, who has done alright in a couple of cameos recently. And I still want to see Xerxes play. I would like to see Xerxes given an opportunity at some point. Purely thinking on, Carrick's first 2 games, City and Arsenal, the way we played, the close proximity, them releasing others. I just think Xerxes potentially could be so good for that. He's obviously never had that run in the team to really gel and really get going, which is a shame for him. it's a shame for him. Will he still be here beyond the summer? I don't know. I'd like to see him given a chance at some point, but I'd be a little bit surprised if he was to start this one, to tell the truth. Benjamin Sesko is someone who is more likely to start. And then we've also got Bruno and Ahmad. And also, Money Mace is back. Mount back in the picture. Plenty of players to choose from there, to be honest. Mount versatile enough that you could play a few different roles. Same for a few of these guys. Bruno backed by a competent, athletic and progressive midfield and a deadly attack, which we already have. Yeah, and which I think is going to get stronger as well. That can fire you a long way. I don't think we'll have the depth to mount a title charge and solid run in cup competitions, but we'll definitely have the ceiling ability for it. Yeah, that's a really nice way of putting it. I don't think we'll win the league next season, but I do think we will have an 11 that is capable, an 11 that is good enough to win the Premier League, but perhaps not a 28-man squad. Is probably where I see it. Is Dorgu not fit to start? He has been training all week in Dublin. I don't know if Sun is still here. If Sun is still here, she might have a better update than what I can give you, because she is the GOAT with team news. I don't think he's back just yet. I think there's a big difference between, you've done your first sort of solo training on the grass and stuff, to now you're ready to start a Premier League game. I would assume Dorgu's a little bit away still. There were doubts whether he would play again this season. To be back for, the 13th of April? I'd be a little bit surprised. So I don't think Dorgu is in contention just yet. Maybe end of the month is probably what my guess would be. I think he's been in Dublin not training with the team. I thought he'd been more one-to-one work on the grass rather than I'm back in team training as such. But maybe you can let me know. Our aim should be a cup, not the league. We should compete for the league, but we should win 1 or 2 cups. Yeah, I mean, that would be a lovely season next year, wouldn't it? That would be a lovely season if we finished 3rd again, for example, but closed the gap a little bit to 9 points, 10 points from the top at the end of the campaign, win the FA Cup, quarterfinals of the Champions League, final in the Carabao Cup, something like that. That's a very good season for us. Very, very good at the moment. Dorgu was following an individual program to improve his fitness, but was not training with the group. There we go. We can always rely on Sun to hit the nail on the head with the team news. Thank you very much, Sun, as always. I mean, what GOAT? She just knows. Son, I don't know how you do it. You just know. You just got the knowledge. So Dorgu is getting there, but not yet, basically. Not for a little while. Like I said, maybe end of April. I could see it. Anyway, what do we make of this lot? Who do you play? I mean, realistically, I don't see Mount starting. I'd be surprised if he was to be in the 11. I'd be a little bit surprised if it was Xerxes, to be honest. I'd like to see it at some point. What I would really like is if we could go back to the league table real quick. Over here. What did we say we are? We need to finish top 5. That's been confirmed. Top 5 is enough for Champions League. So we're 7 points ahead of 6th. That's what we need to look at. Can we finish ahead of 6th? 7-point gap. We have 7 to go. We're in a good place. We're in a good place. With the fixtures we've got, there's some tricky ones in there. But for example, if we could beat Chelsea next weekend, that would, providing, let's assume Chelsea and United both win this weekend, beating them next weekend would give us a 10-point gap. With, maybe 5 to go at that point. You'd be amazed if we didn't do it from there. You've also got to consider Chelsea have City this weekend. Let's just reconfirm that, right? 7 points clear currently. Imagine this weekend, we beat Leeds, Chelsea lose to City, we're 10 points clear of them. Then we go and beat them the following week with 13 points clear. We're good at that point. 13 points clear with 5 to go. We're going to pick up 2 points from the rest of them, aren't you? Surely. Surely. I hope this doesn't turn into a Grimsby clip. Win the next 2, you think we're good. I'd like to see towards the end of the season, can we throw a Xerxes in for a couple of games to figure him out and be like, okay, is Xerxes what we want? Can he provide something that we want at the club next season? If not, can we move him on? I'm also hoping for some of the youngsters to get a chance, especially 17th of May. That's the one I'm looking at. Forest at Old Trafford, already secured in the top 3 or top 4 would be lovely. Can we throw a Shea Lacey in from the start? Someone like that. That's sort of what I want to see from now to the end of the season. Head down for the next 4 games. Win those next 4. Beat Leeds, Chelsea, Brentford, Liverpool. Much easier said than done. But win those 4. And then in the last 3, let's throw some youngsters in there. Or give some players that we're a little bit on the fence about. Give them an opportunity. Then you can try your Yoro and your Heaven centre-back partnership, for example, to see how they get along. You can try a different system, especially if Carrick's going to be here next season, which I'm starting to think he might be. Is that the chance for a little bit of an experiment towards the end of the campaign to figure some things out? Possibly. I'm not sacrificing the Bruno assist record for experiments. Bruno will still start every game. Don't worry. Bruno, how far off is he? I can't remember exactly where he is. But, if you look at those, Forest is one that you would assume, like, if we were looking at this as a fixture list at the start of the season, Leeds is one that you should win. Brentford is one that you should win at Old Trafford. Sunderland away from home you should win. Forest at home you should win. There's 4 wins there. Then Chelsea, Liverpool, Brighton. Again, I'm saying like at the start of the season, if you looked at the fixture list, those would be the 3 which are a little bit more concerning. Chelsea not in amazing form right now. Liverpool, horrendous form at the moment. And in Brighton, they're probably done with the season by that point. They'll probably put their feet up. So I'll be surprised if we don't get top 5, but it's possible. It's very possible. We shouldn't be too complacent. We've got to win this game. Because on the flip side of it, right, if you lose this game and Chelsea beat City, then it closes right up. Every team is just back on top of each other. Villa could go above us. Liverpool just a couple points away. This is, again, an important one to win. We sort of got away with one a little bit against Bournemouth. We drew on the Friday night and it looked like an absolute crisis. But then Liverpool lost to Brighton and Chelsea lost to Everton. And both of them got completely outplayed, to be honest. We were sort of let off the hook a little bit with that. This weekend, none of that messing about. No taking chances. Give us 3 points. Give us 3 points. So Bruno is 4 from equaling it and 5 to break it. In 7 games. I mean, that's tough, isn't it? How good is Bruno Fernandes, by the way, that we sit here genuinely thinking 7 games to go, 5 assists for a record, that's very doable. But how good is he? An absolute joke. An absolute joke. Will he do it? You know what? With that little bit of talk the last couple of days where he's going on about how much he loves Manchester and, this is home, I think he's going to stay. He's getting 2 assists at Leeds, 100%. Well, he's getting minimum 2 goal contributions. I'm sure of that. I mean, FPL, that is my captain right there. No doubt that he will return. No doubt in my head. Did you see the 5 minutes of missed assist comp in the Prem? Yeah, I did. It's mental, isn't it? It's insane. He should have smashed the record ages ago. Bruno can do 5 assists in 2 games. Chelsea and Liverpool, please. Actually, Liverpool. 5 assists against Liverpool, please. Saying this to Callum earlier. Can you imagine we beat Liverpool 3 or 4-0? We really owe them. One of them. Anyway, forwards. A little bit distracted there. For me, it's Cunha on the left. I think he's been really good in recent games. He plays on the left to me. Bish, bash, bosh. Simple. Xerxes, this isn't the one where I try it. It's that same question again, which we keep going back to in recent times. Pick 2. Pick 2. Who are you going for? Who are you going for? Cassie has helped Bruno a lot with that record. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, you know what, actually, a couple of set pieces. I think Bruno might get there. I think he'll get there. I swear we only need 3 wins out of 7. I mean, I don't think that's literal, depending on who plays each other still. But honestly, 9 points. How many points can Chelsea get to? They can get to 69 points, right? That's the maximum tally that they can get now. We're on 55 currently. So if they do 3 points a game, we do 2 points a game, would be on the same tallies. I think it's a bit more complicated than what people think. I think it's a bit more difficult to get there. Like, we will drop points. We will. Leeds, Chelsea, Brentford. I'd love 3 wins from that, but I'd be a little bit surprised if we get 9 points. I would expect probably 7 is more realistic. You know, it's not as straightforward as just go and win every game. A draw at Stamford Bridge would not be a bad result for us at all. Be a bad result for Chelsea. Be good for us. Yeah, Chelsea, Liverpool, Villa, I think they do all play each other, don't they? Yeah, I think a lot of it will be dependent on sort of how other teams do. I've said the fact that Chelsea plays City, you hope City can do us a favour. Liverpool, Fulham, by the way, that's not an easy one for Liverpool at all. With the form they're in, the feeling around the club is horrendous, isn't it? You got Salah didn't even get on the pitch the other night. Slot saying some weird things about not even thinking they had a chance of scoring at that stage in the game. Andrew Robertson now announcing that he'll leave. You know, Van Dijk not Van Dijking at the moment. They're in a weird place. They've lost 3 in a row in all competitions, I think it is now. Fulham aren't an easy team to go and play against. You know, 9th place. It's a good Fulham. Fulham are 5 points off Liverpool. It's a good Fulham team. Fulham might cause them a problem there. Might cause a problem there. Might do us a favour. Who Villa got? Villa away at Forest. I mean, Forest fighting for their lives. Maybe have got a chance. Villa played last night in Europe. You'd expect Villa to be okay, but you never know. I mean, Forest also played actually, didn't they? Against Porto. Is Konate suspended? Couldn't tell you. Could not tell you. I don't know. Anyway, this front three, pick or 2 of these 3. What are we feeling? Controversial, but I'm dropping Mbeumo for Ahmad. He's been so off the boil since AFCON, it's worrying. The problem is, I think Ahmad has as well. That's sort of the problem I've got. I think they've both been a little bit off it. Having said that, I think I'm going Benjamin Sesko. And honestly, maybe this is the wrong way to talk. Maybe it is, I don't know. But how important are set pieces this season? I mean, they've always been big in the English game. But this season more than ever. And then you're looking at a United team which may not have Maguire, or sorry, will not have Maguire. Is lacking a bit of height or true aerial dominance at centre-back. This might be a game where you need to find your height from your striker. Maybe you need Sesko up top just to get that little bit of extra size on attacking but also defensive set pieces. Obviously, I know we've got Casemiro, but maybe that's something which might sort of lean it in Sesko's favour over the other 2. I think I would play him. Again, if we're talking about form, for me, Cunha's the form one. He's the one that's playing well. Sesko's the one that is finding a way to score goals, and in really important goals as well. Although from the bench. Not sure. But these 2 are just out of form, so I wouldn't want them both playing. I only want one of them on the pitch at the moment because they're not impressing me. And I think Mbeumo needs a break away from the middle. If he's going to play, get him on the right wing. So it's one of those 2. Who you go for out of those 2, I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure who you go for. Ahmad still naturally is that more dribbly profile, bit more of a winger, someone who's going to take people on, go down the outside, commit 1 versus 1. And Bruno isn't that, and that's fine. He's a bit more of an efficiency-based player, less touches, more product. But as Chad has just said in the chat, I mean, he's been out of position, hasn't he? Pretty much ever since Carrick came in, he's been playing up front. Even under Amorim, he was right 10, which is not a role he played for Brentford regularly. He's a wide player who comes inside, and we haven't really seen that at United yet. Certainly not for even like 3 games in a row. We haven't seen that. So I'm not going to be too harsh on Mbeumo. I think his form has dropped, but I just don't think it's working for him up front. That's not his long-term position. So for me, it comes to a shootout between these 2. Perhaps I'll be able to give a better answer Sunday once I've done my research for Leeds, sort of figuring out where they're strong, where they're weak. I might be able to give more advice at that point. What do you guys reckon, though, between these 2? Also, 84% of people think we will finish 3rd. I love that. 2% think we'll finish 6th. I'd love to hear who that is. Leeds are missing Stack. By the way, that's actually an interesting point on set pieces. The fact that Anton Stack is out for Leeds. 6'5". But not in the box on set pieces. Really good set piece taker. Really good at taking corners. Something that Leeds will be without this weekend. Leeds are missing Stack. I think that would benefit the positions Ahmad likes to cut into. I just think we always... Right. Just in any team ever. Having players that can play 1 versus 1 is good. You see PSG in midweek, you see Bayern in midweek. The way that they play, every single player can take it 1v1. That doesn't always mean dribbling at a player, but just in a 1v1 duel, and they're good. And I don't think Mbeumo is that so much. He's not as 1v1 orientated. A bit more of a space player. So I like Amad in the team for that reason. But I just think you get more efficiency with Mbeumo. Like, Mbeumo can give you a bad 89 minutes and 59 seconds. But with the one good second, best believe that ball will be in the back of the net. Whereas Amad, I don't think is that inevitable in the final third. Also got to think sort of who we're linking them up with. I'm not sure. Amad over and let's do a poll. And this will decide it. I will literally go whatever the poll goes, we will go with. Bosh. We're winning against Leeds, draw Chelsea, and win against Liverpool. I mean, that'd be enough, wouldn't it? Would be there at that point, you'd think. YouTube, the chat right now is going mental, just like bouncing up and down. I don't know what's going on there. Give Amad 50 minutes and then Mbeumo gets the rest. Yeah, I mean, sort of inspired by Steve, we do always need to think about the bench. Who's better with a bench impact is an interesting question. Who can cross to Sesko is a good question as well. Mbeumo's probably the better crosser, I would suggest. Impact from the bench, Xerxes, Mount is nice to have in there. I wonder if Lacey might be in the squad. I don't know what the situation is there. Beyond that, it's light again. Obviously, it'd be one of these guys, sort of the other one. For example, if we start on Mbeumo, you know, that doesn't look too bad as attacking depth. You know, you'd hope next season it's a little bit stronger, a little bit better. But that's not too bad. Especially if you just put a Lacey there with them, and then you go into, you know, Ugarte and Fletcher. The centre-back situation on the bench is going to be light. Really light. We might see like a Fredrickson come in there, for example. Mazraoui in there as well, that sort of bench. It's alright, isn't it? But it doesn't really... doesn't really move me. If two players are out of form, I'd back the older and more experienced player to bounce back and not impact him too much. Yeah, that's quite a nice logic, to be honest. And he does have that advantage of being that little bit bigger and stronger. Even when he's not in as good a form. You sort of back him in those moments to look after the ball. Whereas Amad, because he's more technical based, if he's off form, he's going to struggle. Winger Maguire, I wish. On the other hand, Amad versus tired legs is way more impactful than Mbeumo versus tired legs. I think it depends on the game state. If... Picture a world where United are 2-0 up, so Leeds late on are pushing to try and get a goal back, so they're now suddenly in our half playing a higher line. Mbeumo then coming on the break with the space to run into, sounds really frightening. On the other hand, if it's a bit more of a tighter, cagey game at the time, you probably want Amad's dribbling, you know, coming on with that impact. I think for me, again, I'll do more research over the next couple of days to figure out sort of where I think Leeds are good and where I think they're not so good. I think for me, I would go Mbeumo, and I think that would be my team. Hopefully our bench looks more like first-team players next season. Yeah, I mean, obviously people are worried if we sign a midfielder, does it put Kobe to the bench? If we sign a winger, does it put Cunha to the bench? In some games, yeah, it does. Or yeah, it would. But hopefully we're playing in lots of competitions so they can get plenty of starts. But imagine we're going into a game where we've got top quality left winger, two top quality midfielders, and then we've got someone like Kobe and Cunha who in some games are benched. But, you know, their impact. You know, if we're looking at these guys as the bench, if I was saying these are the bench options, so suddenly people would be much more confident next season. And then in the next game, you know, sort of Kobe plays and someone else is there. It sounds exciting to me. It sounds exciting. What's the poll saying? I can't see the poll. The poll's not working. Oh, there it is. There it is. People are going Mbeumo over Amad, so we will stick with that. What Mbeumo does do is stretch defences, giving Cunha more space. It's a great point. It gives Bruno more space, importantly, and Kobe and Casemiro. Those up-back throughs we like, where we move it up and then set it back. Two runners with Mbeumo and Sesko could be a lot of fun. with the other guys then being a bit more focused on combination and linking. I like that team, to be honest. I like it. It is missing a dribbler. I will say that much. It is missing a proper dribbler. Ahmad is the only one who can bring that. That is a concern. I wouldn't have a complaint, whichever one it is. The poll has gone in Bumo, so we'll go in Bumo. And I think I agree with it. I don't mind that team. I'm a little bit worried about the centre-back situation, the lack of experience there, and proper aerial dominance. I think Heaven would have to have a big game, and also Lomans as well. But I like it. I like it as a team. If we play 55 to 60 games next season, nobody is going to start all of those. So yeah, it's okay to share the love. Exactly. I always use City as the example. The fact that Ryan Cherky spent half the season on the bench. Phil Foden can't get in the team at the moment. It's insane. Listen to the quality of players that I'm talking about. We're allowed to do the same. More than a month without football, these players could be completely different. Yeah, I think what I would expect is a weird game to start off with. I think Old Trafford against Leeds, we're going to want United to come out flying. I don't know if it'll be as easy as that. The good thing is most of these guys have played some international football. So whilst we haven't seen them for United, they have been keeping sort of sharp in that regard. Not so much here. Although Heaven and Yoro did play some youth football, to be fair, for their countries. Everyone else, I think, started a game for their country over the international break. So they'll probably be sharper in terms of fitness than what we're expecting. But sort of cohesion, maybe not so much. Maybe a little bit out of practice here and there. Cunha's been showing more of his 1-versus-1 ability out wide, to be fair. Yeah, hasn't he just? I mean, Cunha has very quickly gone from a little bit of an annoying player, sort of trying to figure out where he's best, how we get the most out of him and those around him, to suddenly, for me, he's one of the players that I put in the team and sort of don't question it. I don't question it. I think he's been brilliant. I think, again, against Bournemouth, so good 1-versus-1. But there's been other games as well where he's showing that willingness to go down the line. And I just love seeing a player who, at whatever age, a player now in his peak years, willing to learn and take different things on board and do different things for the benefit of the team. It's really good to see. So, very impressed with Cunha. Really, really like him at the moment. Actually transferred him in on FPL. Yeah, Licha could start. It is very, very possible for Lisandro Martinez to start this game. I think it's a bit of a 50-50. We don't know, do we? If Lisandro Martinez is fit enough, Carrick will go for him because he'll want the experience. If we're unsure, we'll go for Heaven to play it safe, and as we should. The conversation about Shaw, yeah, I did say it right at the start of the stream. Could Shaw go in there and Mazraoui wide? Probably could do it. But I don't know what message it sends to your young centre-backs at that point. If you're putting a right back at left back, a left back at centre-back, just to keep you out of the team, it wouldn't be a lovely message to receive as Aiden Heaven. And I also just think Heaven would be better off at centre-back than what Shaw would anyway. So maybe for the sake of experience, you would do it. But otherwise, I'd go for Heaven. He's at the club for a reason. He's good enough, right? So, yeah, get him in there. Cunha's problem is he was receiving the ball and facing midfielders. When he's best facing defenders, he was too deep. Yeah, I just think he's really growing into the United shirt at the moment. It's really good to see. He's probably one who would have been frustrated with the international break because he's playing so well for United. Having that interrupted would have been frustrating for him. Anyway, Premier League, no? What? Match prediction times. Scoreline. Get in the chat. Let me know what you think. What is the score going to be this weekend or Monday? Manchester United at home at Old Trafford against Leeds. Again, it is a Leeds side which is hit by injuries. But it is also a Leeds side which is sort of fighting for their life. They could still go down. They're only 4 points above the drop. Relegation is very possible for them. And Spurs, just for what it's worth. I think this will be a good game. Loki agrees. And he's well up for it. So yeah, let me know your score predictions and also goal scorers as well. I'd love to hear them. What we got? We got 2-0, we got 2-1, we got 2-0. I'm assuming all of those are to Manchester United. Callum goes 3-0 dub. He's gone for Bruno and Bumo, Heaven and Lomans to save a penalty. Got a 2-2 in there, which I don't love quite as much. Apologies for Loki. I do apologise. He's just going absolutely mental, isn't he? He's just a mad lad. He's a really friendly dog. But he doesn't sound it at all, does he? Like, your guy's impression of him must be crazy. He is the friendliest dog you will ever meet. He's the most babyish dog you'll ever meet as well. He's a funny little fella. It's 3-0, I dream. Yaz, I think I'm with you. I'm feeling a 3-0 here. Chad says 6-1. If there's a game to be 6-1, it's United versus Leeds at Old Trafford, with Bruno talking like he's going to stay and Leeds hit by injuries. Hopefully no penalty in the first place. Yeah, would be nice. What are your dog's predictions? How many times did he bark there? That's how many goals he was going for. 3 assists from Bruno. Yeah, I mean, if there's a day for it, it'd be a nice one. I think I want to join the 3-0 hype train. Sun says 3-1. Bruno, Sesko, Cunha. I like that. I like that. Partly because I got Bruno captained and Cunha also in my FPL this week. I am going to go... Is it too bait to say Casemiro's going to score a set piece again? Is that a bit too obvious? I don't care. I don't care. 3-0. Manchester United. Goals. First one is Matheus Cunha. Second one is Casemiro from a set piece taken by Bruno Fernandes. Third one is Bruno Fernandes. So Bruno, no, Cunha, Casemiro, Bruno. 3-0 Manchester United. Simple as that, right? Lovely. I have a hard time believing Loki's not a male manhunter. Honestly, like, he sounds like he is. If anyone comes anywhere near the house, he does this super big scary thing where he runs to the furthest point from the front door and barks from there because he's scared. Like, he sounds like he's going to destroy the mailman. But no, he's actually just hiding and he barks from like the furthest distance possible, bless him. He's a cutie. He's a cutie. Steve says 3-1. So 2 goals for Bruno, 1 for... Do we not have a Casemiro emoji? How do we not have a Casemiro emoji? He scored so many goals this season. I'm also tempted to redo all the emojis in a new style just to freshen it up a little bit. And then I can get more of them because I've done it in a weird way last time, which has made it difficult to get more. Yeah, I'm tempted to do some new ones. And then we can just, maybe figure out on Discord 10 players you want. We'll go for them. Casemiro with a header from a set piece by Bruno. I love it. That's what I'm here for. Loki didn't like the 2-2 either. If we come out playing, then 2-0. Love that. He said 18-0. I mean, I'd take it. Casemiro, Sesko, and then Tanaka for Leeds. 2-1. I mean, again, we are at that stage of the season where it's just about the points, isn't it? I'd love a performance. I would really like a performance because it's taken so long to get to this game. But ultimately, if we play kind of and win 3-0, I will be more than happy. Take your hand off for it. Up to 58 points. Which would put us, by the way, at 20 points better off than last season. Right. This stage last season. I remember when Mount was injured for so long, we had to retire the Mount emoji. Good times. Poor Money Mace. He's back now, though, right? He's back now. Not going to lie, I'm kind of more excited to watch Spurs go down lately. We have Champions League in the bag. Do you think they will? Do you think Spurs will go down? Only got Sunderland this weekend, right? Yeah. Go on, give me your bottom 3 before we leave. Last thing we will do before we wrap up. Give me your bottom 3. Bigger faces for us old folks in emojis. So less of the shoulders, bit more zoomed in on the face, bit larger. Obviously, I can't go too big with them because they're still emojis, but a bit more zoom on the face. I think the Sesko one's a bit bigger, isn't it? Yeah, the Sesko one's a slightly better size. Yeah, give me your bottom 3. What's your take on top 5 Premier League clubs to go to the Champions League? Rogue take Arsenal. I think we'll be there. Manchester City will be there. Manchester United will be there. Ooh, who's going to miss out? I don't know what the fixture runs are like. For me, it's between Liverpool and Chelsea. I think Villa will be all right. I think their fixtures line up quite nicely. I think they've got a nice run. They are in Europe, though. They are in Europe and look likely, to carry on. Which might sort of make them stumble, but I think Villa will be okay. Liverpool and Chelsea, one of them misses out. I mean, Liverpool's form is just so bad, but you just feel like they're going to find a way. You just feel like Liverpool will find a way to get there with They've got enough good players. They've got enough good leaders. Because they'll go out with the Champions League, won't they? To PSG, I'd have thought. They'll be done. So they won't have too many games to focus on. Out with the Cups? Yeah, they're out of the Cups now as well. I think the current top 6, the current order, is the final order for the top 6. Bottom 3... I mean, Wolves are gone. Burnley are gone. Again, I don't know the fixtures at all. I don't know the fixtures. But I want to say... I think Forest might go. I think it might be a Wolves, Burnley, Forest bottom 3, which I hate to say because I've got a soft spot for Forest. I do like them. But I think it might be top 6 the same, and bottom 3, Wolves at the bottom, then Burnley, then Forest, then West Ham, then Spurs. Yeah, I think West Ham will stay up. I just got a feeling they will. I think they look a bit better in the past couple of months. You got a Jared Bowen who can get you to safety by himself, to be honest. Disagree, I could see us overtaking City. I mean, with City, there is that chance where they go into that mode where they feel like they've not got an awful lot to play for. Like, they know they've got Champions League football. They're cool, they're safe. If they were to lose to Arsenal next weekend, I think it is. If they had to lose to Arsenal, it puts them out of the title race. You know, finito, it's all done. Then I could see it sort of almost just flattening out for them. And then maybe we push. Although, will we also be flat at that time if we feel safe? I'm not sure. Second is possible. Second is possible. Seeing Spurs go down would be hilarious. Neighbour is a Spurs fan. Poor fella. Poor fella. Remember back in the day when Forest were relegated and we got their best player? Honestly, that's the only reason I don't want Forest to go down, or one of the main reasons, is because if they go down and Anderson goes to City for like £3, I'll be fuming. I'll be fuming. Someone else for him to scare from a distance. Anyway, we are now going... Actually, let's read these Spurs comments. I'll be watching all the Spurs games and think they will survive. The 3 that are there are doomed for me. Yeah, I mean, West Ham have got Wolves tonight, right? You got to win that. You got to win that. If you don't, you're in trouble. Who did Forest have? Villa. Eesh. Yeah, Arsenal imploding and failing would also be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a fun end to the season. Hopefully something funny happens. Either Spurs get relegated or Arsenal bottle the title. Not because I want City to win, but just because Arsenal fumbling would be hilarious. Just seeing them cry would be incredible. And the same if Spurs were to go down. Hopefully one of the two funny things happens. That's what I want. You know, that's what I want for the end of the season. United top 3 and something funny for one of the North London clubs. That's all I want. That is all I would like to see. Please and thank you, Premier League gods. Anyway, that is it for today's stream. Thank you very much for tuning in. I have enjoyed it. It's been the first time in a long time that we've been able to stream. In terms of the next one, normally we'd do Tuesday morning, but I'll probably be analysing this game, which is a Monday night. So we're probably streaming Wednesday and Friday next week. But I will let you know for sure in a few days' time. I'm going to make sure they're not killing somebody. So I am now going to wrap up the stream. Thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you for the super chats, gifted memberships, people that have subscribed, liked, waffled along in the chat. They are genuinely going mental right now. So I do have to go and make sure no one is being killed or someone's breaking into the house. So thank you very much for watching. Video out later today and over the next few days. So I will see you all very, very soon.